guys, how's it going? My name is Jeff with the Collector Car Network. That's Autohunter.com, ClassicCars.com, and The Journal. And we are with Barrett Jackson at the 2022 Las Vegas auctions. Now today I have a very interesting car for you. This is a 1969 Chevrolet Camaro ZL-1 COPO car. This is a very, very rare car. This is number 27 of 69 that were total produced, and it's part of the original 50 that were originally ordered by Fred Gibbs. So let's go ahead and let's start with a little bit of story of how these cars came to be. So essentially what happened is back in the 60s, Chevrolet hit a point where they stopped allowing any engine over 400 cubic inches to be put into any of the production cars. What happened was, as a result, on the drag strip, these cars were now getting beat by all the Mopars and the Fords, which had 400 plus cubic inches of displacement available for them on the drag strip. Now, in order to keep racing, Fred Gibb Chevrolet supplied some engines for Harrell, who was drag racing Chevrolet at the time. Now, the loophole was using something called COPO, which stands for Central Office Production Order. So essentially what that means is you were sending a special request to have parts that were not readily available, usually heavy-duty parts that were intended for things like taxis or other vehicles used in construction and things like that. And they used the loophole to essentially shoehorn in this massive 427 ZL-1 engine that's in here. This engine is actually all aluminum. It does have things like iron piston sleeves and some upgraded forged internals just to make sure it's essentially a massive race engine. This engine is loosely based on the famous L88 Chevrolet racing engine, but for a street car, this is quite an engine, making this car essentially an apex predator on the drag strip. Now, one of the things you'll notice is this color. This is Fathom Green. The COPO cars were actually only produced in 5 colors total, obviously Fathom Green being one of those available colors. Now, the other thing that's really interesting about some of the COPO cars, as we start walking through the back here, this car does have an automatic transmission, and you can see it's fairly simple looking other than obviously that massive engine put in there. If you take a look at the interior, you'll notice this is the black vinyl interior. All of the COPO cars could only come with a black vinyl interior, and they even came with a lot of the basic interior options that you wouldn't get if you got something like an SS or some of the upgraded trim models. As we come to the back here, it's still a fairly plain looking car, but it does have a 410 posi in the back as well. So this is just quite a serious car. It even came with an upgraded suspension package as part of the whole COPO operation. And of course, these cars would go on to be monsters with the massive horsepower output that you would get from that all aluminum ZL-1 put in there. There's estimated to be roughly 43 of these cars left, but obviously this is a beautiful example and is a really unique part of history, being that Fred Gibbs was able to go to Chevrolet, talk to the man in charge of taking care of all of the COPO orders and getting him to agree to purchase all of the COPO cars. All they had to do was essentially get the initial 50 cars to make it homologated essentially for racing and get all 50 orders done through the Fred Gibbs dealership, where some of those cars would later be sold through other dealerships because of how hard it was to sell these cars due to the astronomical price of over $7,200 back in the day to buy one of these ZL-1 cars. So, with that, if you guys enjoyed that video, if you could throw us a like, we'd really appreciate it. And if you want to get subscribed so you don't miss more content like this in the future. If you're looking to purchase a collector vehicle for yourself, be sure to check out our online auction, Autohunter.com, or you can check out our marketplace, ClassicCars.com, where there's over 35,000 cars currently live on the site. With that, thank you so much for watching.